Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today with more bowler attacks. Now, you guys probably already know that in the last little mini update that actually was probably one of the coincidentally best updates we've seen in a long time in Clash of Clans, they actually buffed the bowler troop as well. They made him go into his attack much quicker. Now, it used to be a 2-second delay. This is the old bowler troop. I'm going to show you a replay that I actually did the day before the update hit, which is now 2 or 3 days ago from this recording, and you'll see that the bowler attacks, they wait a full 2 seconds before going into their attack. This time reduction, now it's been moved to 1.1 seconds with the new bowlers before they go into their attack, so almost cut in half. And it's really akin to the change they made, the buff they made to the Valkyrie. If you remember, the Valkyrie actually had a delay as well, a much longer delay than they did, and they did a similar thing here with the bowlers. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this replay up because, after all, it's the old bowler. We want to see the new bowlers. This is a pretty easy base I was hitting here, nothing to write home about. The clan castle had giants in it and stuff like that, so not a big deal. But in today's video, what I want to do is kind of revise where I'm at with the bowler walk strategy, as well as kind of a spam mass bowler strategy for a high percentage 2-star, if that's all you need in your clan war, or you want something a little bit safer to use maybe while trophy pushing, or maybe, hey, with the new cook times, they've been reduced to 5 minutes. Maybe you want to farm with some bowlers, maybe just try them out, or maybe actually use them to get more loot. Maybe you're just farming your Grand Warden up. So this could benefit a large number of people. So now from here on out, we're going to be using the new bowlers. These replays were all done today, the day I'm recording. Now check it out. It's already noticeable how faster they throw those balls or stones or boulders, whatever they are, and you can see they just get into their swing much faster here. Now, on every kind of bowler walk, you do run into the issue of perhaps bowlers splitting directions, especially if you place them as carelessly as I did there. I still pull off the 3-star against this base, and I'm going to tell you what my thought process was. So I did sacrifice a couple bowlers early on there from getting a little migration there from the pack, but what I'm basically trying to do at this point in the raid is I'm not really, I do have a game plan, and it is to create a funnel behind my troops. That's the premise here. So I don't always use this strategy, but against this base, it seemed like it would work pretty well, and I'm going to be using the clan castle to my advantage, the defending clan castle to my advantage as the attacker. What I'm going to do here is clear out a nice big area. You can see that cannon that's firing onto my bowlers right now. That cannon and that elixir pump are going to act as a lure to lure my troops into the center there, and then the clan castle will act as a further lure or aggro to get my troops to go to the center of the base, because that's what I want to do. Look at all that firepower in the center of this base with all of the expos, all 4 expos, and both Inferno towers and the Eagle artillery. So I'm going to drop my poison, and it works out perfectly there. What I did here is before I went into the base, I assessed what is a way I can make that clan castle lure my troops to the center of the map. I didn't want to attack into the Archer Queen or anywhere near the Archer Queen, because both heroes obviously can also aggro your troops. So when you're hitting any sort of these bases, we're going to bring you a few examples in today's video. It will be a little bit of a longer one, but I want to show you a nice selection of different types of popular bases and how to beat them using the bowler, and I want to talk a little bit more about the bowler AI and what type of army compositions we've been having success with in Elite Nations. So you can see here that I saved all my wizards for cleanup. I'm kind of flirting with using some wizards in the beginning and then saving some for cleanup, or just using them all for cleanup like this. It actually works pretty effectively. I think I had like 6 or 7 wizards that I deployed around the edges of the base, and they actually end up doing a great deal of work going around those edges, allowing the Grand Warden and the Barbarian King just barely clinging on to life there to tank for them. And then it was, like you can see, a nice 3-star attack, and the idea was I opened up a nice funnel both on the outside and the inside of the base using those bowlers. That way my troops would head directly towards where I want them to go, and that would be the core, and that would be the advantage that the bowlers have as opposed to a traditional queen walk. So now we're going to go against a 100% totally maxed out base, and shout out to Ward for pulling this attack off here. You can see he does not have max heroes, and he only has level 2 bowlers, so this is going to be a very impressive attack. Ward is actually normally a co-leader in Elite Academy, so shout out to those guys. Got a great group there, a great clan. So Ward's going to go ahead and start by setting the table beautifully here by taking out that army camp, and you can tell where he's going to place the bowlers here, right below that gold mine. And the bowlers are going to make their way and move east, towards the 3 o'clock mark, and then he's going to merge that in to his golem and the Valkyries and the heroes from there. So Ward chooses to place a rage spell before he drops the bowlers, and then he drops the healers after that. So he drops rage, bowlers, healers, and that actually works out really well. I might actually transition into using that myself. The only issue there is you don't always necessarily drop your bowlers to start out with in the area that would be the optimal rage drop area, but the counter to that is when you drop the rage right away, right off the bat before even the troops, you actually have a greater shot, I found from trial and error, at having those bowlers stay together rather than kind of migrating to different areas of the map, kind of like you saw in my very first replay. So now Ward, like I said, he merges these bowlers into the rest of the attack. Now it's definitely noteworthy here that none of the healers die. That's going to come back to help him out on this 3-star attack using bowlers. And he's going to go ahead again. He's going to utilize that clan castle to trigger, to aggro, to lure his troops to the center of the base. I mean, it's really aggro 101, but not everybody always has a grasp of it. Sometimes you look at a base like this and you just think to yourself, how do I start? Where do I start? And one of the first things you should look at is how are my troops going to react, going to respond to the aggros that happen mid-raid. So a good way to plan these types of attack, especially with bowlers, is you plan your entry point first and then you work from there, because the bowlers are going to be shifted more often than not around 90 degrees from where your entry point's going to be. So what you can do is look towards an entry point on the base that will lure or aggro your troops to the center, to the core. So there's two ways to do that. One, you can use I wouldn't use the Barbarian King, that's why I don't include him in one of the two ways, because the Barbarian King has a very small radius of aggro. You can tell what their radius is just by clicking on them. And but the Queen has a much larger radius, obviously, and also the Clan Castle. So you want to use the Clan Castle or the Queen to your advantage. There are actually 4 aggro units in the game. There's the Queen, the Clan Castle, Skeleton Traps, and the Barbarian King. Those are essentially the troops that can cause you to be diverted from whatever target your troops would normally target next. So this is an attack by CoC. I mentioned him earlier. He's a really good bowler attacker in Battle Elite. And you can see here he does the same type of start that Ward did. He placed the rage before the bowlers, and the bowlers were pretty quickly able to take out 20% of the base. With that reduction from 2 seconds to 1.1 second, that actually makes the bowlers move faster as well because they're killing their units faster. And the bowler walks actually move a little bit faster than the queen walks do now after this new reduction in the time between the bowler throws. So you can see this base is a very common base. Again, that's one of the reasons why I'm bringing it to you guys today. And the idea here is look at that big wide open space right in the middle there. That's going to be kind of like a no man's land where the troops, you're not going to have to worry about them funneling in the wrong direction from there. So from there on out, from the entry point, you can see, again, it's all about the aggro here, right? So you cleared out an area with the bowlers, then you're going to use that queen to initially engage and lure your troops towards the center, and then from there, you're going to hand off the aggro to the clan castle troops defensively, and that will get your units, most of your units, to the core. Now, you're always going to have some kind of separation here. You can see some of the bowlers went south, actually with a golem, and that's actually a good thing. As long as your heroes, for the most part, get into the core, at least 2 of your heroes, you're more than likely good to go. So you can see the bowlers actually do a great job with cleanup. They kill pretty quickly, and of course they can shoot over walls, which is an advantage that obviously Valkyries don't have. I love using bowlers with Valkyries still. I have tried just totally mass bowler attacks, and I'm going to bring you a variation of that attack next, and that will be the last replay of the episode. And this is more of like a high percentage 2-star attack you can do that doesn't necessarily require a lot of thought and pre-planning. So this is the attack right here. I'm using 14 bowlers, and it's really simple. I'm using 3 golems as well, and it's a little bit of an old school go wee wee, go wipe type feel to the start of this raid. You're placing down 3 golems with, about 8 or so squares of separation in between them. Want to make sure you're distracting all the defensive units. Then you deploy your 9 or so wizards. Then in this case, I have 2 jump spells. I'm going to jump right to the core. And then instead of clumping up my bowlers, I actually spread them out. That way they'll spread out when they enter the base. And then what they're going to do is all acquire separate targets and really soak up those rage spells. Bowlers perform very, very well under rage. So I use my Eternal Tome a bit too early on this raid, and had I not done that, maybe, just maybe, I would have had an outside shot at 3 stars. Maybe not though. As it was, I think it was like a 75 or 80% raid when all said and done. But you can see that, it's not an easy base per se. I mean, it's not a difficult base, but this type of attack makes it look really easy, and essentially it's kind of thoughtless, like I said, but this works better when you're trophy pushing. I found it's really hard not to at least 2-star a base using this strategy. So if you come across a base like this, maybe in your war, or maybe you want to take it out into wild, this is a strategy worth using as you're trying to transition into the bowler walk. Even if you have level 1 bowlers, even as a Town Hall 10, if you wanted to use an army comp like this is actually an effective army comp even when hitting a Town Hall 11, because it's very fast moving, especially with the 3 rage spells, and you don't need the Grand Warden necessarily. You do have that free spell as well, and it's a pretty solid strategy. So I will be exploring this more with my Town Hall 10 friends, hitting up at Town Hall 11s using that type of attack. So guys, we're going to go ahead and end it there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care.